Hungarian Folk Tales. The Two Old Friends. Once upon a time there was a poor man. He was very poor and had a lot of children. It was near Christmas time and they had nothing to eat at home. So he had the idea to go out into the forest and collect nuts. Out he went and collected half a sack of nuts. He then took the nuts to the town where he planned to sell them. As he got close to the town, he met an old friend. "Good morning, old friend." "Good morning, old friend. Where are you going?" "I've got some nuts in this sack. I thought I might exchange them for some food for the children. Christmas is here and we have nothing to eat at home." "I've got half a sack of poppy seeds and I also have a lot of children. I would like to exchange it as we don't have anything to eat at home either." "Look, old friend, let's exchange the sacks without looking at what's inside." And they quickly exchanged sacks. Then one of the old friends arrived home. "Well, children, I got half a sack of nuts in exchange for that half a sack of ashes. I shall pour them out for you to eat." He emptied the sack, and it was full of oak apples. What a man! He cheated me. He will pay for this. The other old friend also arrived home. "Wife, look, I brought half a sack of poppy seeds for that half a sack of oak apples." The children were so excited that they danced around the table. The wife brought out a giant bowl. "Pour those poppy seeds out." Poured them out, but they were ashes. What a man! Why did he cheat me? So he set off to the town to meet his old friend. They both arrived and began to threaten each other with sticks. "What a man! Why did you cheat me?" They began to fight, but after a while, one of them began to laugh. "Why did you cheat me? We could never cheat each other. Let's join forces and work together." A rich man gave them each a job and employed them for the last 3 days of the year. When the 3 days were up, they went to the man and asked for their wages. The rich man gave the order to bring each of them a plate full of gold. They were both very happy. They both got their wages and they both set off home. They were poor, but at the same time, they were cunning men. "Look, old friend, we should go back to the pit where the gold was kept and we can take more of it during the night." So they took an empty sack and went back. "How will we go down there? It looks very deep." So they fastened their belts together and one of them lowered the other man down into the pit. The one in the pit quickly gathered up as much gold as he could. "Let me know when the sack is full. I'll pull it up first and then I'll pull you up." But the man in the pit had a better idea. If I send the gold up, he'll run away. I have to stay down here, but then they'll catch me. He put a lot of gold into the sack, but he did not fill it up. Then he climbed into the sack with the gold. Now you can pull. As they were nearing the forest, the man in the sack said, "Put me down, old friend. I know I must be heavy." "Oh, you are here too? Of course. I didn't want to stay down there. Let's have a rest. I'm very tired." "Very well, let's have a rest." The man was so tired that he sat down and fell fast asleep. So the other man picked the sack up and began to run away. When he awoke, the other man had gone. "What can I do? He's taken it now." Very well. Then he cut a stick, tied a thread to it, and cracked it like a whip. "Get on with you!" And he made the noises of an ox cart. The other man heard the noises. "Just in time. I'm so tired. I shall put my sack on that cart too." Then he saw his old friend. "Old friend, we could never cheat each other." "No, we couldn't. Let's have a rest, old friend. You must be tired too." "I really am very tired." Then they had a rest. Now the one who had taken the sack fell fast asleep. The other man saw that his old friend was fast asleep, and he took the sack and ran all the way home. There he told his wife, "Put this gold quickly in a box. Take the hoe, come with me to the cemetery, bury me, and if my old friend comes to see me, tell him I am dead." So they went to the cemetery. The woman carefully buried him under a thin layer of soil so that he would come to no harm. Then she returned home, where she held her head as if she was crying. When the other man awoke, he could not find his friend. He knew that he must have gone home, and so he hurried to his house. "Good evening, dear lady." "Good evening, kind sir," she said in her saddest voice. "What's the matter? Why are you so sad? Where is my old friend?" "Your old friend? He died. I have just come home from the cemetery." "Poor friend. I'm really sorry that I couldn't attend his funeral. Dear lady, lend me a hoe and I'll go and tidy up his grave." "No need for that." "It's tidy enough." "It's an old friend's duty to tidy up his old friend's grave." So they went to the cemetery. The man saw the fresh grave and didn't dig with a hoe, but started to stamp about like a bull, clawing at the soil. "Moo, moo, moo," he said, and he hit the ground with the hoe. "Stop that bull," said a voice from the grave. "If you dig me up, my old friend will find me." "Moo, moo, moo," the other man said again, and he got hard to work with the hoe. "Stop it, bull. My old friend will find me." "I've already found you, old friend. Come out." Oh, well, we could never cheat each other. No, we never could. Then they went home, divided the gold between both families, and had a very merry Christmas. Hungarian Folk Tales. The Jackdaw Girls. Once there lived a mother who had 12 daughters. The 12 girls were very unruly and each had a big mouth. They were always quarrelling with each other. There was never any peace in the house, and one day their mother decided that enough was enough, and so she said, My ears are full with your quarrels. All of you should turn into jackdaws." They flew through the open door with such haste that they nearly poked her eyes out with their wings. They left the house and took to the air. They disappeared in a westerly direction. The mother became very sad as she missed her daughters very much, but there was nothing to be done. Then she discovered that she was expecting a baby, and when the time arrived, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. When the boy became a little older, he began to ask his mother, "Mother, have I never had a sister or a brother?" And his mother replied, "I have never had any other child except for you, my boy." But later on, the boy heard the talk in the village that he used to have 12 sisters who turned into jackdaws and flew away forever. "Mother, I have heard in the village that I used to have 12 sisters. I will not rest until I find them all." His mother tried to keep the boy at home, but to no avail. So then she filled a sack full of food and let him leave. As the boy was walking, he caught sight of a hermit's shack in the distance, and he arrived there just as the sun was setting. An old woman lived in the little shack, and he had never seen an older woman in his life before. He greeted her. "Good day, old lady." "You are fortunate that you greeted me politely, or else I would have eaten you up. What are you doing in this place that has never been seen by man or beast before?" The boy then told the old woman that he was searching for his 12 sisters who had turned into jackdaws and flown away. "Good. In the morning we shall make inquiries about them." Then she made supper for the boy and they went to sleep. Early the next morning, the old woman stood outside with the boy beside her and she blew hard on an old whistle. All the reptiles of the world gathered around in a matter of moments. The old woman asked the reptiles about a flock of jackdaws that never mixed with the other birds. None of the reptiles had any useful answers to her questions, and so the old woman ordered the reptiles to go home. So they all slithered away. The boy bid farewell to the old woman and left her. After a day's walk, he again arrived at a hermit's shack. He entered the shack and saw an old woman even older than the first. "Good evening, old lady," he said. "You are fortunate that you greeted me politely, otherwise I would have ordered bears to tear you apart. What are you doing in this place that has never been seen by man or beast before?" The boy told her the aim of his search. "Good. Maybe tomorrow morning we shall learn something more about your sisters." The boy went to bed and soon fell fast asleep. The next morning, the old woman stood outside the front door with the boy and blew hard on an old whistle. All the four-legged beasts of the world gathered around the house in a matter of moments. "Do you know anything about 12 jackdaws that always fly alone?" "We know nothing of such birds and we have never heard of them before," the four-legged beast replied. So the old woman sent them home with a wave of her hand. Then the boy became very sad indeed. He thanked her for her troubles and continued on his way. As he was walking, he spotted a third hermit's shack atop a huge rock, and he arrived there as the sun was setting. He walked into the shack and saw that this woman was even older than the two before her. "Good evening, old lady." "You are fortunate that you greeted me so politely, or else I would have had eagles tear you to shreds. What are you doing in this place that has never been seen by man or beast before?" So the boy told her the story of his journey. "Don't be sad, my child. I am sure that tomorrow we shall hear something about your sisters." Then she made the boy something to eat and made his bed. As soon as the sun came up, the two of them stood at the front door and the old woman blew hard on a whistle. All the winged creatures of the world gathered around the house in a blink of an eye. The old woman inspected the birds and then said angrily, "Someone is missing." Soon a raven arrived and one of its wings was bleeding. "As soon as I heard your whistle, I began to fly here, but while I was flying, I saw a tall red tower. Tower was so tall that it stuck up through the clouds. And the noise the jackdaws made in that tower was worse than anything I had ever heard before, so I decided to rest a while and listen for myself. People passing by made mention of 12 jackdaws. They said that they had been living there for some years now and never let anyone go near them. But as I was eavesdropping, a hunter came along and shot a bullet into one of my wings. That is why I was late to arrive. Yours was the story we needed. You other birds can go now. So now you know where to go. Your efforts will not be in vain. When you arrive outside the tall red tower, lay these bones down on the ground and think of me. He set out once more, and after many days he arrived at the tall red tower. He did as the woman told him, and the two bones grew into a long ladder, and he could climb up to the jackdaws. He entered a large room where he found 11 of the jackdaws away, and the 12th in the form of a girl. The others were away collecting food. The young girl was afraid at first, but soon she became braver. She showed the boy around their home and explained all that she knew. Then the boy confessed that he was in fact their brother, and he had found them at last. Then they heard the noise of the jackdaws flying home again. So the young girl said, "Hide yourself quickly, because if I am unable to explain who you are, they will surely peck your eyes out." So the girl hid the boy in the 7th room. The 11 jackdaws soon arrived home, where they did a somersault and turned back into girls. Then the eldest of all said, "I can smell the presence of a stranger." And she tossed furniture around in her frantic search for the stranger. Then the youngest girl calmed her sisters and said, "When we left our father's house, our mother was heavy with child. She gave birth to a boy. That boy has spent many months looking for us, and now he is here to take us home to our mother and father. I hid him because I was afraid you would do him harm, because you didn't know why he was here or why he had come." Then the girls went to their brother, and they all embraced him. Before starting home, they all swore to always be good from now on. They climbed down the ladder, and the boy led them home. When they returned to the home of their birth, their mother and father were overjoyed to see their 12 daughters again. From that day on, the girls behaved so very well that they were the pride of their village. All 12 of them found a husband within the year, and all got happily married. And their brave brother found a pretty girl to be his bride, and they all lived happily ever after. Hungarian Folk Tales. Abeles Kobeles. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a king. One day the king was out hunting in the forest and became so very lost that he could not find his way. "I wish someone would lead me out of this frightening forest, and I would give him a sack of gold for his troubles." "Follow me, and I will lead the way." And that's what he did. "You should know, King, that I need neither money nor anything else, but give me that what you have now, but did not have before you left your palace this morning." The king thought and thought that he must mean a cat, or something simple like that. When the king arrived home, his servants ran out to meet him, shouting, "Make haste, your majesty, because you have a beautiful baby daughter, more radiant than the sun itself." But to make a long story short, the little man had said that he would only come to fetch the girl on her 15th birthday. When the king saw how pretty the princess was, he knew not whether to weep with joy or with sorrow. The queen said to him, "Are you not happy?" "Oh yes, I'm happy, very happy," the king said, and he told her the story. Days became months, and months became years, and the princess grew. On her 15th birthday, the devil appeared because the little man was really the devil. Send your daughter out, King, for I have come to collect her at last. Oh dear, oh dear. The king and the queen wept and wailed. What can we possibly do? The gooseherd's daughter was also there, so they quickly dressed her in golden robes studded with diamonds. Then they put a crown on her head, opened the door, and sent her out. The devil had a wheelbarrow that he made the girl sit in, and he pushed her away. He pushed her past water where geese were swimming. When the geese saw the girl, they began to gaggle. Gah, 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 where are you going, goose girl? I'm going to hell and the devil's taking me. You're not the real princess, the devil asked. No, not at all. I'm the gooseherd's daughter. So the devil grew so angry that he tipped the girl from the barrow and left her there. The devil marched back to the royal palace. Listen, King, if you won't give me your daughter, I'll smash your door in. Oh dear, wailed the king and the queen. The swineherd's daughter was also there, so they quickly dressed her in golden robes studded with diamonds. Then they put a crown on her head, opened the door, and sent her out. The pig soon began to grunt. Where are you going, pig girl? I'm going to hell, and the devil's taking me. You're not the real princess, the devil asked. No, not at all. I'm the swineherd's daughter. Listen, King, open the door and give me the princess, or else I shall set your palace on fire. The king and the queen were both terrified, so they dressed their daughter while they wept, and they pushed her out of the door. The devil was delighted. He put the girl straight into his barrow and wheeled her to hell. Once there, she met a boy called John, who had also been stolen away from somewhere. They were both forced to work hard. John toiled all day in the stable, and the princess did the cooking, the baking, the cleaning, and she looked after the devil. Time passed, and John and the princess spent all their time together. One day, John said, Princess, we should both run away from the devil. But how could we do that? I know a magic spell. I overheard the devil say it. I shall cast a spell on the broom and spit on it. Then the broom will answer for us when the devil tries to find us. That sounds like a wonderful plan. So they waited until the devil fell fast asleep, put the broom by the door, and John spat on its handle. Speak for us when the devil calls us. Now the devil woke up. Where are you, princess? Bring me my clothes. I want to get dressed. Right away, the broom replied. The devil waited for a while and then called again. Are you bringing my slippers? What takes you so long? I'm coming right away. Wait until I catch you, you naughty child. Where are you, naughty girl? Here I am. Where are you, manservant? Quickly sit on a shovel and ride off after them into the sky. Catch them and bring them back to me. John, my left ear is itching. Look back. Oh dear, princess. The devil's servant is after us and he's very close. Let us quickly do magic. I will be an old priest and you can become a church. And so that is what they did. Listen, old priest, have you seen young John and a princess passing this way? The old priest pretended to be praying. Abeles, corbeles, abeles, corbeles. Old priest, don't chant verse to me, but tell me if you have seen John and the young princess. Abeles, corbeles, abeles, corbeles. Then the devil's servant sat back on the shovel and flew back to hell. The young couple turned quickly back, the church became the princess, and the old priest became John, and the two of them continued. Have you seen them? Could you reach them? Did you bring them back? I saw no one except an old priest and a church, but the priest was a fool and simply said Abeles, corbeles to all of my questions. Oh, that was them. Where is my other servant? He should sit on a hot iron and fly away after them. John, my right ear is itching. Look back. So John looked back and saw the devil's servant flying after them on a red-hot iron. Let us quickly make magic. You will become a cornfield, and I shall become a farmer watching his golden field of corn. Then the devil's servant flew down from the sky. Listen, old farmer, have you seen young John and a princess passing this way? Shoo, shoo, sparrow, shoo, shoo. Shoo, pigeons, shoo, shoo, shoo. Old farmer, don't say shoo to me, but tell me if you have seen John and the young princess. Shoo, sparrow, shoo, shoo, shoo. Shoo, pigeons, shoo, shoo, shoo. The farmer's as mad as the priest, manservant said, and rode straight back to the devil. Did you see them? I saw no one except a field of corn and a wild farmer who shooed away all the birds. Oh, that was them, the rogues. I shall have to go myself. Oh, John, both my ears are itching now. Look back. Oh, princess, now the devil is hot behind us. Hurry, and you'll become a golden duck, and I'll become a pond. Now wait, I know who you are. I'll catch you and take you back. I swear I will. And the devil went into the water to catch the golden duck, but the duck kept swimming further in. The devil gave chase and swam further still until he reached the middle of the pond, where the water was the deepest, and the devil drowned. Then they both changed magically back. The pond became John, and the golden duck, the princess. Then they both went back to the princess's home. The king and the queen were overjoyed. They held a wonderful wedding, and they all lived happily ever after. Hungarian Folk Tales. The astronomer, the thief, the huntsman, and the tailor. Once upon a time there lived a poor man. And the poor man had 4 sons. But the poor man was so poor that he had no money to keep his sons. One day the poor man said, "The time has come for you to leave home and seek your fortunes. You should all go and learn a trade." So the 4 sons set off into the wide world. The sons soon came to a crossroads that branched off into 4 different directions. So the sons agreed to part company and all meet back at the crossroads in a year and a day. Time passed and each of the sons studied a trade. The first son became an astronomer. The second a thief. The third was a huntsman. And the youngest a tailor. So they met again after a year and a day, and they journeyed back home to tell their father of the jobs they now all had. Well done, sons. I believe you all, but I still would like to see proof of the new trades you practice. You, my son, the astronomer, what do you see on top of that tree? I see a nest with 5 eggs, and a golden bird is sitting on them. You, my son, the thief, if that is indeed your trade, go now to the nest and steal the eggs from under the golden bird without ruffling a feather on its head. So the thief climbed up the tree and succeeded in stealing the eggs unseen, and he gave the eggs to his father. The old man put the eggs on the table. He placed 1 egg at each corner and then put the 5th egg in the middle. You, my son, the huntsman, if that is indeed your trade, shoot each egg with 1 shot and split them in 2. So the huntsman shot and hit all 5 eggs in turn. Well done, son. You are a master of your craft. You, 4th son, the tailor, if that is indeed your trade, stitch all 5 eggs back together so that the chicks inside each survive. So the tailor stitched the eggs back together and did an excellent job of work. But they would not know if all was well until the eggs eventually hatched. Now, thief, You must put the eggs back under the golden bird unnoticed. The thief succeeded, and only a few days later, all 5 eggs hatched out and the golden bird was delighted with the chicks. But each chick had a tiny red band around its neck where the tailor had stitched them back together. Now, my sons, you have proven your trades to me, but now you must prove them to the wide world. News soon came that the princess was lost, so the astronomer's son took out his spyglass and saw the pretty girl sitting on a rocky island in the middle of a vast ocean. And he saw a fierce dragon sleeping on the princess's lap. So the astronomer's son went directly to the king and requested a boat to rescue his royal daughter. The 4 sons voyaged to the rocky island where they discussed how best to save the princess. The tailor's son suggested they shoot the dragon, but the astronomer's son was worried that they would hit the pretty princess. But you, thief, if you could steal the eggs, steal her from the dragon. And the thief stole the princess unseen. Then they took the girl onto the boat and sailed slowly back to the shore. But that is when the dragon awoke, and the fearsome beast caught sight of them. The princess had gone, and the dragon flew after them. The dragon saw that the boat was nearing the shore and knew that the princess must be on board, so it swooped down to the boat. But the huntsman's son saw the mighty dragon coming, and he shot it in the heart. Then the dragon fell from the sky onto the boat and smashed it into smithereens, leaving only a few planks of floating wood that the sons held onto. Then the huntsman said, "We'll surely perish in these waters." So the tailor's son swiftly stitched the boat back together, and everyone aboard survived. The old king was a very happy man when he saw his daughter again, and he asked the 4 young men, "Which one of you deserves my daughter's hand?" The astronomer's son said, "Me, sire, for I sighted her in the middle of the ocean." The thief said, "Me, sire, for I stole her quietly away." "Seeing her was not enough, brother, if you weren't brave enough to go and get her." Then the huntsman said, "Getting her was not enough, because if I hadn't shot the fearsome dragon, it would have eaten us all up." Then the tailor said, "Only I deserve the princess, sire, because if I hadn't stitched the boat back together, we would have all surely drowned." And the brothers began to fight. So the old king said, "I cannot grant my daughter's hand to all 4 of you, and so instead I shall grant you each a portion of my kingdom. Will that suffice? Because the princess is very pretty, but living in peace is better still." So all 4 sons received a quarter of the kingdom, and they all lived happily ever after. Hungarian Folk Tales. Little Diogenes. When I was a little lad, my father sent me out to the forest to watch the cows grazing. He told me to keep a close eye on the herd because if any of the cows strayed away, he'd skin me alive. I tried to watch them as best I could, but I found a blackberry bush by the edge of the forest with ripe berries on it that were big and fat and black. Well, like I said, I was only a lad, and I instantly forgot what my father had said and set to work eating as many berries as I could manage. And while I stood feeding my face, the 2 cows strayed away from the grass meadow and began to make a meal of valuable hay. And just as that was happening, the devil sent the local constable, who cracked his whip and drove those 2 stray cows away from the hay they shouldn't have eaten. I gave chase as best I could and appealed to the menacing man. "Constable, please, they're my father's cows. Let them go with me." But the man took no notice at all and saddled his horse and rode away. He set out for the town and I followed him as best I could on foot, but he was soon far out of sight. So what was I to do? I couldn't stand before my father without his precious cows. I thought it best to run away instead and drown my sorrows as best I could. So I sat on a pile of pebbles by the side of the road and wept and wailed, for I was still only a lad and I'd had to leave home. Soon a woman passed and she said, "Why are you weeping, young lad? What on earth occurred?" So I told her of my troubles and that I did not dare to return home, or else my father would surely skin me alive. My parents would never see me again and I would be orphaned and homeless. "Don't be so foolish, young lad," said the woman. "A parent's punishment strengthens the soul, but a blow from a stranger only bruises a boy's body. Now take yourself home before it gets dark." "I will not," I told her boldly. When the woman saw that she spoke to me in vain, she washed my filthy face, then she took me by the hand and led me to a large stone house. When we reached the kitchen, she placed a plate of steaming porridge before me, but my belly was so filled with berries that I couldn't swallow as much as a spoonful. But I didn't dare leave it because I thought she'd think me ungrateful. So I took the porridge and spooned it under my shirt. Then after I'd fed my shirt this fine supper, I lay down by the stove to warm myself. And as I lay in the snug, my sadness slowly slipped away, and I was happy to have found comfort in the kitchen of this motherly woman. But it wasn't long before her husband returned, who was not what I'd call a fatherly man. As he caught sight of me lying on the blanket, he complained to his wife, "Why have you brought another hungry mouth to the house? But he's nothing more than a lost lad. I thought he could help about the farm." Help? With what? A skinny thing like him will eat us out of house and home. "Hey you, get up and lift up this sack of corn. I want to see if you're strong enough to be of service here." I tried to lift the heavy sack, but my 8 years proved not enough to lift the heavy weight. But I was soon undone when my belt burst open, my shirt shot out of my trousers, and a pool of porridge landed on the floor. "You filthy thief! You have stolen from us on your very first day here." And he took out a whip to give me a thrashing. The wife begged him to spare me, but instead he grabbed me by the scruff of the neck and stuffed me into a barrel. Then he sealed the barrel tight and rolled it far from the house so that no one passing would hear my cries. "And there you'll stay, you filthy thief, and tomorrow I'll have you locked in jail," he snarled. I was now stuck tight inside the barrel and could do nothing more than groan and moan. But then in my hour of greatest need, I remembered a lesson we'd had at school about a wise old man by the name of Diogenes, who used to live in a barrel much as this. Then I thought of a plan. I had a knife in my pocket and I could wedge it in between the staves, but the barrel was made of old oak and the wood was so hard that my knife broke. Then I sighted a fox that alighted in the garden. The chicken shed was closed and so the fox began to nose around my barrel. The fox appeared at the very best time, as I had an idea that made me feel as wise as old Diogenes. And I started to make a noise like a laying hen. Cluck, 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 cluck. What a good place to sit. Instead of eggs, I'm sitting atop a pile of sweet honeycomb. Oh, my dear little hen, would you give your friend the fox a taste of that sweet honey you have? Of course, my foxy friend. Simply stick your tail in and I shall smear it with sweet honey that you can lick off later. The foolish fox did just as I suggested and popped its tail in through the hole that I grabbed and held onto with all my might. The hen thief thought it was caught for good and began to leap about the place. And it leapt and jumped, jumped and leapt until the barrel had broken apart. Free at last, I ran and ran until I found home. My parents were happy that I had returned. My father gave me a harsh beating for my sins and not watching over his valuable cows. But my mother rubbed my back with soothing cream and I continued to grow in my loving home. Hungarian Folk Tales. First the dance, then the feast. Once upon a time there lived a poor man. He had even more children than a sieve has holes, and he owned nothing more than a small house. But then the poor man was forced to move out of his home because his landlord wanted so much corn in payment for his rent that he had to leave. And so the poor man decided to hide. In the forest, he met an old man, and the old man asked the poor man where he was going. The poor man told him about his landlord's cruelty. Don't be so sad, poor man, because I shall give you a fiddle, and whenever you play it, your landlord will dance. The poor man happily took the fiddle, but told the old man that he was still very hungry indeed and he could not return home with a fiddle. Then the old man gave him the gift of a table. Whatever you wish for will appear on this table. So the poor man slapped his hand hard on the table and shouted, "Porridge and beans." And when the poor man's belly was full, he set off to go home. When the poor man arrived, he discovered that his cruel landlord had already evicted his dear wife and darling children. "Now I shall pay and you shall dance," and the poor man began to fiddle. And the poor man's landlord danced and danced and danced and grew very tired indeed. But as the poor man played as long as he could, his landlord kept on dancing. When the poor man took a rest, the landlord ran back to the mayor's office to report that he wouldn't stop fiddling. But the poor man followed the landlord back to the office and began to fiddle again. "Dance, landlord, dance!" Then the landlord danced into the office and shouted. The men in the office soon grew bored with the poor man's fiddling and they ordered him to leave at once. "Now you should dance too," the poor man commanded. And everyone in the mayor's office began to dance around. They put down their pens and danced a merry jig together. Then the policeman heard the news and ran to the mayor's office. "Get out of here, poor man!" But the poor man shouted, "Now you should dance too!" And the policemen all began to dance around. The women sent word for policemen to come from the next village, and these policemen soon arrived and tried to chase the poor man away. Now you should dance too. Now the whole marketplace was filled with people dancing around. Then the soldiers marched up and the poor man said, "Now you should dance too, as best you can." News of the dancing finally found its way to the king's ears. "Now the king should dance too," the poor man demanded. So the king joined in the frantic dance. The queen of the kingdom contacted the king from the neighbouring land, and this king arrived with his army, and the country was soon filled with his foreign soldiers. The second king called upon the poor man to desist. The two dancing kings put their crowns down at his feet and gave him their lands. So peace returned, and the dancing eventually ended. Now all the dancers had grown so hungry and asked the poor man to feed them at last. The poor man took out his table, slapped it and said, "Porridge and beans." Then everyone sat down to enjoy the meal, and the tiny table made more and more and more of the food. The people standing next to the table were lucky, but the ones at the back could not reach the porridge pot, and the people pushed the kings into the beans. The king's shouts were soon drowned out, and both kings drowned in the big pot of beans. No one felt sad that the kings had gone, and all pushed forward to eat their fill. Everyone ate and ate till all was gone, and they all had a splendid time indeed.